It was the eve of the Coalition's potential victory, but the day would not be over without a pact having the say. In the first engagement, the combined forces from Daedalus and Clan fell upon the Pact refinery with such ferocity that it forced the defending Dragontown bombers to regroup. As the battle raged and teetered in Coalition favour, a miracle seemed to occur as the bombers rallied and made significant gains on Coalition forces. By the end of the battle, it was the Coalition fleeing at flank speed and the Pact successful in securing their precious refinery, snatching it out of the claws of the Ravens.
With Pact forces on the defensive and falling back into their canyon positions, the Coalition hoped to continue the pressure and push back the front lines even more. Perhaps it was their arrogance that led the Baron of Blackcliff to move out from the rear command positions, but whatever the case, he enlisted the aid of Hydra to escort him from his inspection of the front lines. Taking advantage of the Coalition's blunder, the Flamefield mine layers flanked the Baron's convoy from their canyon positions, sending his vessel into full retreat for a time. However, glory was not with the Coalition, as the Pact quickly caught up and turned the Baron's arrogance into a bright red streak on the canyon floor. As the war on the front lines raged, a war between friends and family erupted behind Coalition lines, as the Storm Riders and the Crimson Sky Menace clashed over the channel. Tasked with putting an end to the Riders who were plaguing Coalition shipping, the Menace set a target for their former friend and leader of the Riders, knowing defeating them would likely break the unity of the Rider forces. Recognising these weren't normal Coalition trade ships but their former comrades, Rider forces were pressed hard to retreat before being overwhelmed in the channel as they desperately needed to rearm in Anglia. And after a series of brilliant manoeuvres by the Riders, they succeeded in making sure the Menace were unable to sink their captain. By the end of the battle, as the wind and rain picked up, the Menace could only shake fists as they watched the Riders flee into the frozen north. In a battle that showcased the Green Sun's desire to take a more prominent role amongst the Pact forces, they pursued after Hydra and wound up in Fairfield. Unfortunately for them, their foe was not the Slippery Serpent, but an armed and resupplied SPQR fleet. Not discouraged by this turn of events, the Green Sun fleet faced off in a head-to-head battle against SPQR, and while they seemed to hold on for a time, SPQR broke through the Sun's lines and decimated them. While the Green Sun sent away in full retreat, put a notch in the belt of the Coalition, the tide of this war had turned. Frontline forces were pulling back, and early gains the Coalition made were now memory. But while things are suddenly looking grim for the Coalition, the course of this war could change yet again, just as easy as the wind blows.